Hello, everybody, and welcome back to NCAA 2004, and we are kicking off year number 10, already going through week 0, Michigan picking up a win against Syracuse in Ann Arbor. Remember, a few years ago when we did play Michigan in the regular season to start our season, they lost that game to Syracuse, so it's unfortunate to say that the game just recycles schedules as much as they do, but that is just the way things go in these older games, I guess. But thankfully, we're able to change our schedule how we want. But I decided to keep Michigan around this time since it's been a few years since we've played the Wolverines. The last time we did play them was in year number 6. That was the last time we played Michigan, and we beat them pretty handily. That was the weird game. I think there was a lot of wind. They had a few different turnovers. It was kind of a weird and wacky, just kind of gross game in Tuscaloosa. But we did manage to beat Michigan pretty handedly, and that was a comeback from losing to Michigan in year number 1, if you guys can even remember that far back. We lost to Michigan in the Capital One Bowl. They managed to beat us, which ironically is how Michigan finished off their season last year. They beat Tennessee in the Capital One Bowl after Tennessee lost to us in the SEC title game, which handed Tennessee, I think, their 5th loss of the year. They were 10-5 last season, so we will probably talk about them more later on in the year, but that is where Michigan is coming from, entering into our 10th season at the helm. Can you believe it? We're kicking off year number 10. Only 7 more complete seasons to do of this series before we fully meet Nick Saban's tenure here at Alabama and can conclude this journey of trying to win more than Saban. So we have a lot more to do. We have a lot more ball to play and a lot more titles to try and win. We only managed to win 3, or we're coming off of our 3rd one. So our title defense begins now. So we are title defending champs. Now we're starting it against the number 5th team in the country, against Michigan, because we don't play pup schedules. We don't play easy schedules. Our whole out-of-conference schedule is going to be tough once again, and this game is no different. Heading all the way to Ann Arbor in the Big House to start off our season here with new starters all over the place. And on a 3rd and 5, our new running back, one of our new starters, is already making sure his name is felt around the Big House as Jameel Nichols, the junior, who up to this point really only has 1 touchdown in his career, gets a very nice pickup early on in this game here. Shows us a little bit of what those legs can do. And then another new face on the team showing us exactly what he can do is David Hines. He's the 3rd receiver in the depth chart. He's a sophomore. And he gets himself a touchdown to kick off this game. Another receiver who doesn't have a lot going for him. Only 84 yards and a touchdown entering this game ever in his career in the Crimson Tide. And he already has one to start off the season. So Michigan now going to try and answer us back on offense themselves. And their quarterback, Frederick Swan, is able to lay up an absolute lob of a pass, a prayer of a ball, and that pass is going to be hauled in, it looked like, by Jonathan Sherman, number 81, and it was, for Michigan. And Swan, this is his first year as a starter for the Wolverines here. He's, I think he's like a 99 overall, or just about, but he's got some impressive numbers. But he's going to eat some grass on this play here as pressure gets up the middle all the way to Swan, and he is brought down towards the ground. And we got new guys all up front, too. We're only returning 10 starters this season, so that you might be seeing some new faces. And that was Winford Larson, the new starting right end. He is a senior, but he gets into Swan for the sack. And now Michigan bring in the kicking team, and their kicker's got plenty of leg, but just barely not enough leg as that ball falls short just in front of the uprights. We're going to get another look at it here. I don't think there was any wind here, so there's no excuses they can use around there. It was just a bit of a short kick. Oh, hits the ref. Directly hits the ref. But yeah, that kick is going to be no good, and the first quarter is going to come to a close. Hines' 1 touchdown is your deciding factor so far in this game. So we're back on offense here. Remember, we have a new starter in Stanford Matthews, and he lobs up a ball down the middle of the field, and it's going to be intercepted. So Matthews with kind of an arm punt here, and he absolutely lobs this one up, and there's a flag on the field. So yeah, it looks like a flag because somebody got a little bit too handsy, and it was David Hines once again getting a little bit too handsy on the way down. And so it's going to add some more yards for Michigan as they take over now on offense following the interception. And Swan's going to throw himself an interception, and that ball is fumbled on the return, but it is going to still be picked up by the Crimson Tide. And so we're going to exchange possessions on back-to-back plays. Both teams are. So Swan dropping back to pass here. We're going to get a little bit of a look at it here. And yeah, that's an interception, baby. All day long, that's an interception. And it's going to go to Jason Nash, who's the starting left outside linebacker, the junior. He gets an interception here. It does fumble on the return, but it still counts. We'll take it. So pressure pressure is coming off the edge towards Matthews, but Matthews lobs this one out here down the sideline. It's Nichols, the running back, who's able to haul this one in and extend our drive just a little bit here late in the first half, down to just a minute and a half left in the first half to play. So on 3rd and 9, Matthews trying to get into the end zone here, lobs into the back of the end zone, and who else, baby, but Andrew Solomon. Now our top skill player onto the offense, as we lost everyone last season like Max Price and Thomas Samples. They are now all gone. And we were just stuck with people like Andrew Solomon, which I wouldn't say we're stuck with. Those are fantastic people, but, it's a lot of turnover we're seeing. And here is another interception now in the second half as Swan throws a pick six. That is a dangerous ball you don't want to throw, and that is Joshua Bowen, who is now the top DB on the roster. He was probably 3rd or 4th last season, and now he's getting himself a pick six early in this game, or I guess not early, about halfway through this game, but he's getting his name called early in the season, getting himself an interception here. And now the lead is just completely opened up. Michigan has to give us the ball since they are struggling on offense. And Nichols just barely getting through here. It looks like he was so close to just breaking that one off and heading to the house here, but he trips up on a tackle that he tried to hurdle. But it's enough for a first down, so we're going to continue the drive here. So 1st and 10 for the Crimson Tide. Matthews back to pass here. Nobody in the backfield. He's going to lob this one across the middle, and that pass is going to be completed. And there is a flag on the play. So hold on while we examine what that flag was, as it was Darius Van on the catch, and it's going to be a face mask on Michigan, so tack on 5 more yards after the completion to Darius Van, the sophomore, and now we're really cooking and looking to completely pile on some points on Michigan if they cannot stop us on defense. So on 2nd and 2, Matthews going to hand this one off to Robbie Tanner, the fullback. Robbie Tanner tries to break a couple tackles, only breaks one, but he does manage to get the first down, and so that'll give us goal to go, even though it was just a yard or 2 pickup. We will certainly take that. We will happily take that. So 1st and goal, it's going to be here for the Crimson Tide. Matthews rolls out immediately and fires one into the end zone, and that pass is going to be caught. It looked like a bigger player. It looks like it might have been Broderick Black, the tight end. We'll get another look and see exactly who it was, get a better look at the numbers here. No, I'm not sure. That might have been, it wasn't even the backup tight end. That was an 86. I'm looking around for an 86, and I do not see one. So I'm not entirely sure who was on that catcher. It was not Broderick Black, and it was not Lenny Horner, the backup either. So question mark on that one. But Michigan now finally getting things going across midfield. They're going to hand things off to their running back, who's breaking a tackle and getting out into open space here, leading the caravan to the end zone. And it's Herschel McGee who's going to get into the end zone for Michigan for the first time today. The junior running back had 600 yards last season and 4 touchdowns, and he's going to get his first touchdown here in the opening game for Michigan, or rather, I guess it's not their opening game because they did play Syracuse here. So, but in this game against us, in our opening game, he's going to get a touchdown here and tackle on to his total, assuming he scored some in the previous game. So 28-7 now the score here late in the 4th quarter here, and we now have the backups in the game, and let's get a look and see what they can do. We have LaShawn Robinson, who's the backup quarterback, who's you're going to be seeing quite a bit of today here, as he's now in the game, commanding the offense. He's back to pass again, pocket kind of collapsing, throws one across the middle, and he's going to find David Hines once again across the middle, as Hines is continuing to have himself a pretty big day here in the beginning, and we don't have a million receivers, so people like Hines, who's 3rd on the depth chart, are still going to be on the field here, even though we have backups in. And now 1st and goal it's going to be, and Robinson's going to hand this one off to the backup fullback, I think. Yeah, it's J.C. McClintock who's going to get into the end zone on a fullback dive, and I think we've seen maybe once or twice him do that before in these kinds of situations with the backups in. But that's going to do it for the game here. We're going to add one more. 35-7 is going to be your score at the Big House, and we still just have Michigan's number, man. We figured it out. We have not forgotten that bowl loss, and we probably won't have a chance to avenge it, since if I can help it, we will not be in the Capital One Bowl again. If I can help it, we will not return to the Capital One Bowl, and we will always be playing a New Year's Six or for the national title, one of those. Hopefully we will maintain that level of pace here. So the new look roster here did pretty good, did exactly what they were supposed to. Now we have 11 juniors on the team, and juniors can leave our league. We already saw that last year, and we see it every year. So there's a lot of juniors on the roster that we probably will lose after the season. So we're experiencing a lot more turnover, and as you saw, we didn't have the top recruiting class for the first time when it feels like, 7-8 seasons. So a regression might be coming for this team, but we still came out strong here in our first game of the season. I had to travel all the way up to Michigan to play it, and we managed to come out on top. Both of our quarterbacks have amazing stat lines, even though neither of them really played full or complete games, but still a nice performance. I'd like to see that interception from Matthews go away, but it's still fine. Nichols almost 100 yards on the ground, so we will happily take that as well in his first game as a starter. Remember, we're still not using J.J. Wright, so Hines and Solomon also get a receiving touchdown. Good for them. And then Kennedy here with 1 TFL. There's a few TFLs going around, a couple sacks as well. So a lot of great performances around on this new roster. We see a lot of turnover, as I said, but they're still performing very well. So coming out back to the hub world here, we pick up massive wins over Rutgers and Kentucky. Our defense kind of struggling against Rutgers here, allowing 37 points, kind of a back and forth game, but we're still going to carry our win streak into our rematch against Southern Miss in Tuscaloosa. We're not in Hattiesburg. We're in Tuscaloosa playing Southern Miss for, I think, the 4th time in this series. I didn't think we were going to schedule them again, but we are here playing them once again. So I hope to see you guys back against the Golden Eagles, baby.